Hello lovely people. So I'm just going to attempt to show you how to use a knitting loom ring. You've been sent some instructions. So the first thing that you can make, I think, is a little hat. Whether it's for a baby or a toy or yourself, depending on which size loom you've been given. So I think the green one is for either a baby or a small child. We'll see. So I'll start it off and I'll do a few rows. So first you need to do a slip knot. I don't know if you know what one of those is, but you're basically making a loop, putting it in, putting it through. Don't know if you saw that at all. So making a loop around your finger and then putting another loop through it. Once you've done that, you can put it onto your starting point, which is this little knob on the side of the loom, and make sure you tie it fairly tightly. The pattern recommends that you use, and what I've read on Google recommends that you use 2 strands of wool to make it thicker. I've tried it with 1 strand and it just makes it really kind of holey, so it's better with 2, I'm hoping. I've not actually tried it properly yet. So what you want to do to start off with is wrap it round. If you're going to go round, as long as you go the same way on each one. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Then don't do it too tightly, don't do it too loosely. I'm going exactly the same way round on each one. Go all the way round. When you get back to the first one, you can either go around again, or you can do it a few at a time, or 1 at a time even, and hold it. And then basically you're taking there's a little kind of channel that's cut into each of these arms, feet, knobs, whatever you call them. If you use that to help you pick up the bottom layer of wool and put it over the top layer, I think this is where you don't want to have done it too tightly, and pop it over the top. And the same with the next one. I'm going to try and do about 3 at a time. You should have been provided with like a little hook. I think you can use the hook end of it, but I found it easier to use the pointed kind of sharp end. It's not too difficult to put down and pick up, because you generally can see where you've just done. So I've just done this one, and then just carry on the next one. I'm just going to go all the way around. I'm going to go all the way around once, and then I will do a number of rows and come back to you and show you what I've done. And it's quite helpful to kind of bring these all down a little bit at least, so you've got more room to. So I don't know if you can see, but this has started making a bit of a knitted pattern inside. Hi again. So I spent about 3/4 of an hour and I've probably done about 16 rows, I think. And one of the things I've learned is it's quite good to do maybe about 4 or 5 at a time, stitches at a time, because if you do 4, you can hold the last one with these fingers and pull this over And as soon as you've done them all, pull them down with those fingers and then move on to the next ones. So the pattern says what you need to do is reach inside, pull it through, and then if you work out which is your very first stitch, because of the loose ends, you can put that where the whatchamacallit this little holder knob thing is. Put that between the last and the first stitch, and that denotes which stitches. So each stitch apparently is the long piece of wool or yarn along the bottom. So I'm just attaching them all back on, hoping this is going to work. Classic rebuild fashion of making it up as we go along and learning as we go. So I might have a brim that's maybe a bit too big. I think I said it was about 16 rows or so. I think if I'd done maybe 12, that would probably have been enough. Depends on what kind of hat you want, I guess. If you want a big long floppy one, or just a little one that sits on the top of your head. I've got a tiny head, so I would probably only want a short one. So hopefully there is one stitch left that I can just hook onto that last one. So you can see I've basically, this is doubled up here, and what I'm going to do is bring each of these over the top and hope that it works. Are you able to see what I'm doing? So you can apparently make socks and snoods on the big loop yarn things would be very easy. And then the pattern says you just carry on as you were. So you've made the brim, and then if you just carry on 2, 3, 4, 5. And hopefully this will work and turn into a hat. So I hope that makes sense. It looks quite good with the two colours, and it's definitely thick enough. It's loads better than it was when I just did one strand. That was really, really holy. So I'll be back in a bit when I've done a bit more. Okay, thanks. So I have done a number of more rows, probably about half as much again as I did, and I've measured it, and it's roughly about 9 or 10 centimetres, and I think for that size I'm guessing that's probably a baby hat, or a toys hat. It's not going to fit me, so I'm going to finish off now. So I'm going to follow the instructions. It says leave about 10 centimetres. I'll leave a bit more because I'm a bit nervous. Cut about a 24-inch piece of yarn. That's about 2 ruler lengths. And again, I'll do slightly more just in case. And thread it through. So you need a really fat needle. Some of you will have been provided with one. Others, I'll try and find some and pass them on. What it says to do is, starting with the first peg, so the one that's above the little nodule thing, go from top to bottom on each, and as you go through, pull it off. Make sure you keep hold of the other end of the tail so don't lose it. So I'm going to try and do that on all of them. So pull it through and then pull it over. Pull it, go up, through, pull it over. And to pull this all together and tie them in a tight knot, those two bits. And then the idea is you can either trim those off or you can make them into something else. But there we have a little hat with quite a big brim, whatever you call it. Like I said, I probably wouldn't have made it quite so big had I known that's what I was doing. But you live and learn. So yeah, and then you can add a pom-pom on the top. I think that'll be quite cute. I think so. This is the green one, which is the smallest one. If you want to do a child's one, it's probably the purple one, and then the blue one is, I'm guessing, an adult's one, and the big pink one is for maybe doing snoods or scarves or whatever. I'll look up other patterns for socks and for scarves and things. I think you can do straight knitting on this as well if you don't go all the way around. If you basically miss a peg out and go round and then back again and then back again and then back again, I think that will produce a long straight piece of knitting. But you can experiment and see what you come up with. So I hope that makes sense, and I don't think that's too bad. Thanks, bye.